is not our road. We want Bagley.
Oh, well, too late.
Too late. You know what we can do?
This is Walmart.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Like, this is...
I might know.
Bagley.
Yeah, okay.
By the end of tonight, we'll know exactly where we're going.
So we're at the Besser Museum right now. So the museum is closed right now, but their fossil digging area is open 24/7. And so I just wanted to show you the cool little museum here. Super friendly people. This is not just a fossil museum. They have art and they have a planetarium and they have all kinds of other things. But in the back here, behind the building, is their fossil digging area. And it doesn't look like much. It looks like a parking lot with a lot of gravel. There's really good treasure here. So on the other side of these stone walls is the paid area. Doesn't mean that they have better things. It's just part of the museum experience. So, and that's where they take the kids and stuff. So here we go. I am on a little girls trip with my pal Marnie. She's over there digging, and it's kind of late in the day, so they actually have a little fossil dig area here at the museum, and all of this limestone here comes in from a quarry, and you can just pick through it. So we're gonna do this today, and then there's another place just up the road. It's just kind of like a side of the road ditch that we're going to dig in, but we're going to find all kinds of cool things. And I'm going to talk to Marnie because she knows the names of all these fossils, so we will kind of show you what we find along the way, and Marnie can talk a little bit better than me about the types of fossils. But we'll get started and show you our fun Michigan fossils. Marnie, are you having fun?
Oh my gosh, you should see all these cool things. Look at this. I found an entire brachiopod.
Brachiopods.
Top and bottom.
What else are you finding?
Crinoid stems, some piped coral. I'm in heaven.
We're just sitting here. We are literally sitting here in like a rock parking lot.
And the sun's
We're having
out.
so much fun.
Oh my gosh, there's like one after another.
Yeah, we just reach down here and we find these little crinoid pieces. Little teeny tiny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They're everywhere. We had never been to Alpena, and we were so charmed by the great little town and all of the beauty of the lakeshore and the forest. We didn't have nearly enough time to see it all, and we definitely plan to come back as an annual trip next year. Good morning, treasure finders. I am here in Alpena, Michigan. It's about 6:30 in the morning. My friend and I arrived here yesterday about 3 o'clock. It was a 4-hour drive up here from where my friend lives in Grand Rapids. If you remember my friend Marnie, who I took down to South Haven with me, she's on this trip with me again. So I picked her up and we headed up to Alpena. We're gonna do some fossil hunting, and we've had so much fun already. We were only out for a couple hours last night, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about Alpena. Alpena is one of the best places in Michigan to go fossil hunting. I have some notes here from the little Alpena tourist guide. It says, the Alpena region is a treasure trove of Devonian period fossils 400 million years old. Which, if you think about that, that's incredible. It says, known as the age of fishes, a variety of coral remnants can be found. Fish remnants are a bit harder to come by, but you can find the armor-plated exoskeleton. If you find a fish fossil, you're encouraged to yell jackpot just for fun. We got to Alpena. We didn't exactly know where to start. We knew we were going to go to Rockport State Park, which is a little bit north of here, about 20 miles. but we were going to wait until this morning to do that because we got in a little bit too late last night to do it. So I remembered reading about a place called the Besser Museum, and I said, let's just run over there quick and maybe they can help us out to figure out where just in the town of Alpena that we could look, because I had found a couple of things online that you could find, like crinoids and things like that right in Alpena. So we called this museum, I don't know, 3 minutes to 4 o'clock, and they closed at 4 o'clock, and we were like, oh no. And they said, hey, don't worry about it, come on over to the museum, we'll let you in and we'll talk to you. Well, we went over there and we ended up meeting Christine Witulski, who is the executive director there, and she talked with us for about 45 minutes. We had such a blast with her, so thank you, Christine, for telling us all about this area and the fossils that we can find. We had heard about this pull-off area with a ditch, and it took us some time. I'm going to film that later. We're going to go back. I'm going to film it. Last night it was getting close to dinner and I just didn't get my camera gear out, but we finally found where they were talking about, and we found so many crinoid fossils. It was unbelievable. I thought Marnie was going to come unglued. She is so over the top for fossils, way more than me even. And we were just two kids in candy store picking up all these crinoid fossils. I'm going to show you all my finds. I didn't sleep well last night, so I was up at 3:30 in the morning washing my fossils. So I'll show you those a bit later as I'll show you all of the rest of the finds. But today we're headed up to Rogers City. There's a quarry up there. We're going to go to Rockport State Park. We're going to go to the Presqu'île, depending on how you like to say it, lighthouse, and pick on the beach. So it's going to be a really long day, but it's going to be so much fun. And so thanks for coming along with us, and I will definitely film today, and we'll see what kind of really cool, my alarm just went off. I was supposed to get up right now, but I've been up for like 2 hours. Anyway, Marnie is on the hunt for a trilobite. I would love to find a trilobite. I'll put a little picture here of what a trilobite is. They're really rare, but we're hoping to find one of those. There's this other thing called a blastoid. We're gonna look for those. So can't wait to show you and take you along to beautiful Alpena. It's gonna be a great day today, great weather, and the sun is coming up right now, so I better go and hunt up Marnie, and we're gonna hit the road. We're at Rockport State Recreation Area, and we are going to hit the quarry today.
Oh my God, it's beautiful out here. Look at.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So Marnie and I are here for 2 days. And this
isn't even our hotel clothing.
Right, this doesn't even include our clothes or anything. I did bring the metal detecting gear, which I probably won't get to, but get Marnie's crinoid finds.
Horn coral.
Yesterday, this was just coral. 2 hours yesterday. We're going to be out the entire day today. So this is just super funny because we have so much stuff. Marnie just wandered off into the water. So this is the parking lot for the Rockport State Park. This is just the most beautiful day. And over here is this big pile. And the gal at the museum said, this is not where the fossils are. If you're looking at the lake this way, if you're parked, the fossils are this way. So you have to walk up and over a berm, she said, and the quarry area is over there. So when you're out hiking around, I mean, you can certainly go, it's very popular to walk up on that hill and check out the view and everything, but that's not where the fossils are. When we're done in the quarry, we're gonna go down to the water too. Marnie's probably already swimming. She's hard to keep track of. Look at her way out there. She's all the way out there. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Right? Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. I'm so glad we came this morning, Marn.
Oh, it's so peaceful. Beautiful.
Look at that water.
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
There's a lot of people going down on that.
And what's a bryozoan again?
A living
A living thing.
organism that was
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
the Devonian time.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool? I'd love that.
So we decided to hit the lake shore first before we hit the quarry. And because look at this day, it is just dead calm. And you can see all the rocks.
And all these steps.
Oh, it's so beautiful. One tip that we got from the director of the museum, she told us to bring something to hang in the trees. I don't know if you can see right there. We brought some streamers to put into the trees to kind of mark our path because she said it's really easy to get turned around back here. I mean, there's no real trails. It's just the quarry, and she said it's super easy to get kind of turned around. So I'm trying to mark our path a little bit as we go, and we are finding some nice horn coral right now, some hexagonaria, some different things, and we'll probably sit down and sift through some things once we find a good spot. But right now we're just kind of scoping it out.
Look at this, is a really cool piece.
Let's see.
It almost comes up like a fan,
yeah.
but then look at the top with the hexagonaria.
Oh, that is really neat. That's a good one. That's a keeper. Yeah, you keep that one for sure.
Definitely going. And then here's those pimples of the sponge. I like this piece as well.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's just a tiny piece. I don't have to lug a big chunk around.
Yep.
It's just the details in it are so finite. It's really.
What is that, Marnie?
Hexagonaria.
AKA
the dusky stone.
the dusky
It hasn't been tumbled by the lake. It's just its natural
This is how
form.
it comes.
Yeah. And you know, backside is
I
a little
like
less
it.
significant.
We're at the south end of the quarry, and I actually can see us on maps right now, so we're not going to get lost. But there's this little kind of a lake down here. Super peaceful. You can hear the killdeer, the drama birds, we call them, the drama birds. Here comes one.
Oh my gosh, it's so tiny. It's
You
stuck.
can't get it out of your fingernail.
That's how tiny it is.
We're
It's
finding
stuck in my fingernail. It's so dinky.
we're finding little crinoids in this pile. Here's
Oh my
one
gosh,
right
it'll be
here.
lost.
Here's one right here. I got two here.
Here's two in one fingernail. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's
They're so tiny.
little itty bitties.
I like.
And here's one right here.
Teeny. I'm gonna get out my little rake and think. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to see these when I go to clean them. They're so tiny.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy is, but He looks dangerous.
He does. Oh, look at this little friend. Look at me, a tiny little friend. I want to be a friend.
Play. I just saw the top of this. And I pulled on it a little bit. Check it out. Look at that horn coral.
Oh, I just did the same trick.
Did
Mine
you?
was less.
Oh, that is cool though.
It's less significant, but when you see that,
That's what it looks like. Choose me. That
Those
is
are fun for my fossil pad.
really cool. And here's a nice
variety of little brachiopods. Like
yeah,
this is
for sure.
completely in the
I just
sun.
happened to see, I don't know what I saw. I saw a little brachiopods, I think. And then we just decided to sit down and we're finding all kinds of crinoids and horn coral and brachiopods and
shark's teeth. I don't know. We didn't find those.
shark's teeth. We're hoping that that's next.
Yeah.
But yeah, so cool. So sometimes you just gotta. I bought a little butt cushion, and Marnie has a towel she's sitting on, and it's not a bad idea to bring something like that along. But this is a hexagon area. Raw Petoskey stone. Okay, I think I found the really cool pieces.
Cool.
It's cool. What else are we going to say about it? It's cool.
That's what we're saying. It's cool.
I just like how it,
I love that.
yeah, kind of see how it would grow. So we just finished up at the Rockport State Park. And now we have arrived in Rogers City, which is about 25 miles north of that park. Rogers City is right on Lake Huron, and this area is sort of wedged in between a huge quarry, and there's a beach off to the left, and straight ahead is this little fossil park that we read about. So I'm going to definitely check out the beach, and we're going to check out this little fossil park. We're going to have some lunch up here in Rogers City, and it's just an absolutely beautiful day. So we'll see if we can find any more crinoids or some such thing. This little fossil park is tiny, but we found a lot of stuff in a little tiny park last night. And then Lake Huron is straight ahead, so we're going to check that out as well. So this is it. This is the little fossil park. We have no idea what there is to find. There's a little sorting table, and we were told that there's some good stuff here, so we'll check it out. We just finished up at the fossil park. There were some cute little fossils there. Nothing major, but this beach was calling me. I don't know if there's anything to find over here. Nobody out here. Pretty beautiful. Our next stop is the Presque Isle Lighthouse. The lighthouse is behind me, but this is kind of driving past the lighthouse to the point here. And the water here is like the Caribbean. It's so beautiful here. There's a lot of this limestone rock. This might get a little windy for the audio, but it's so beautiful here. Look at this. I would say the rocks here are not ones that you might collect, but this is an underwater marine sanctuary. There's a lot of shipwrecks up here, and so I know a lot of people dive up here, and gosh, it's really chilly. It all of a sudden got really chilly. It was super warm this morning, but we're still going to check out to see if there's any fossils or any cool rocks, and we're going to check out the other parts of the lighthouse area. The old lighthouse is closed today because it's midweek, we'll see. We found some other places that we're going to stop as well. We'll take you along. So Marnie and I are literally in a pit on the side of the road here, and we were given this hot tip. And if you look really close down here, you can see all these little crinoids just everywhere. Look at all the little Cheerios everywhere.
So, yep, and you watch another episode to see where we learned about those.
Yep, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it right here, and Marnie will tell you all about crinoids. Okay, what did you just find?
Oh my gosh, I have never found one of these ever in all of my crinoid searches. I found the top of the crinoid stem, a perfect star, and the creator has definitely gotten a sense of humor. So when you see this in the ocean, you've got all these stems, stack, and this is the tip of
little
the
star.
crinoid. Never found one. I am beyond.
You are beyond. She's beyond excited.
I want to squeal, but I don't want to scare away the traveling treasure finder.
My treasure finder.
Yes.
Oh, good job, Marnie. Hey, treasure finders. If you follow my channel, you know that at the end of the videos, I usually do a little wrap up of my finds, and this is the beginning of that wrap up. I don't normally show this part, the washing of the finds, but since we went fossil hunting, I just wanted to point out that this is a little bit different than finding things on the beach, because we have specimens that are just caked in dirt, and so I have to deal with mud, and we have such little, all my little crinoids are down here. Like, look at that. Oops, there it is. So what I decided to do was to have the big pieces in one bin and the small ones in the other. I'm going to have a fresh water bin. I don't know exactly how this is going to go yet, but I just have to be really careful not to lose any of the, once that mud washes off, I don't want my small specimens to get stuck in that mud. So anyway, once I'm done getting them all cleaned up, I will come back and show you what we found. I might have to talk with my friend Marnie to see what some of them are, because she knows the names of them a lot better. But I'm going to get at this project and pop on in a minute and show you everything. The first stage here, what I decided to do was just get down to the really small brachiopods and crinoids, and there's a little bit of coral in there too. And I'm individually taking them out and putting them into here because I don't want to run water on this because it will just become a slurry. So this is a little bit tedious, but I've pulled out all the big pieces and kind of revealing some cute little specimens over here. Okay, I've got the crinoids out. This was the most tedious spot. Can you believe all these crinoids? Anyway, this part was the most tedious. I haven't scrubbed them yet, but I got them separated. We'll keep moving along. So I just finished cleaning all the crinoids. I don't know how many are here, but there must be hundreds of them. I just want to reiterate that these are 400 million years old. And these are just the little crinoid, some people call them beads, but I'll put up on screen what part of the crinoid this is. So these are just the individual crinoids, and they're so fascinating if you look closely because they have different patterns to them. They're all symmetrical and just so amazing how symmetrical and perfect nature is. So these are all the individuals, and they're different sizes, different colors, different shapes. And then these are the columns, which are basically just more of the single ones stacked, but this is how they kind of look on the crinoid animal. And then these are also singles too, but they're super cool because the middle, I don't know if you can see very well, but the middles are sort of flower shaped. If you can tell from this angle, let me come in. I don't know if you can tell, but the middles are flower shaped in these. So yeah, I think they're really fascinating. And this was the definitely took me a long time to clean these. So the bigger fossils are going to be a lot faster, and I'll show you those in a minute. So here are these medium to small size fossils that I found. So many really sweet brachiopods, which, you know, I'm a sheller at heart. And so to be able to find these shells that are so ancient, and they're in Michigan. I mean, it's just amazing to think that Michigan was covered in all of this sea life. And I just love these little teeny tiny ones. They're whole. They're like, they never had a chance to live. A lot of these are completely, intact, pretty amazing. And then there's just an assortment of small corals here. Sorry, my nails, absolutely awful. Lots of really cool small corals. And then these are cup corals or horn coral. And then these are the ones that I mentioned that are really different. And I'll show you up on screen what we think these are. We think that they're part of the blastoid on the crinoid. It's just a really different, we called them chompers because they look like teeth. But I don't think that they're teeth. I think they're just part of that crinoid. Anyway, we'll continue on and we'll wash the larger pieces and carry on from there. Okay, so I've moved my little cleaning operation inside. My kitchen counter is the only thing big enough for me to set all of my finds out. I'm going to come back to these in a minute, but right now I've got the last of my fossils here. These actually have been soaking in water for a couple of days. We sort of ran up on a weekend and got too busy, so I just let them soak, which was really good because a lot of the fossils that we took, we weren't really sure if they would be interesting. We just took them because they looked like they might be cool, but they were so caked in dirt we didn't know. So I'm going to wash these up and throw them in here, and then everything will come over here and I can talk about it. Okay, treasure finders, here is the full haul of everything that I found. This is just my haul, not including my friend's haul. And we did find a lot of just random corals for sure, all different types of corals. Some of them just looked like they were like smushed. And I thought this was a really neat sample. I don't know the names of these types of corals. They're just assorted different types of corals. And I thought this was a really neat sample. This was found in the water, actually, in Lake Huron. And it had some really neat corals embedded. I just wanted sort of one nice sample that we found in the water. There were massive rocks that looked like this out in the water, but obviously I didn't want to take home a massive rock. This next group right here are the horn corals or cup corals. There's some really small samples and some bigger pieces, some really big pieces. Like I think this is part of a horn coral. This is kind of where they attach. Same with this right here. It's like where it attaches. I think this is part of the horn coral. I think this one here, I actually filmed pulling this one out. So it's kind of fun to find these because of their shape. Marnie and I had a little pet name for these. You can use your imagination. Shriveled. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. But we thought that these were really fun to find. Some of them we just pulled out. They were so covered in dirt it was hard to tell what they were. But turns out there's just a ton of this horn coral up there. We got some good samples of the hexagonaria, which is the Petoskey stone. This is the raw hexagonaria. So this has not been tumbled in the lake. So this is what it looks like when it hasn't been tumbled. Obviously you find Petoskey stones in the lakes, but I think it's really cool, the pieces that aren't tumbled. These pieces up here are just various things, just really interesting things still in their matrix, some brachiopods and some crinoids and some corals. So all of these were just a little bit different. and I could see lots of different types of sea life in these samples. Some more corals, some bigger corals. And then this whole collection of the brachiopods, and this is some different types of brachiopods that I did find. And then I have these bags up here also that were brachiopods that I showed earlier, but these were the bigger ones, and this one here I would say is probably the biggest one that I found. So that's really neat. And then I did find this, if anybody knows what this is, if you've been up to the quarry, to Rockport State Park, it's very light. There's a lot of it out there. It's sort of bronze colored, some sort of I'm not exactly sure what it is. So if anybody knows, please let me know if you recognize this stuff. There's a lot of it on the surface. This right here is called coke or pet coke. I'm not going to go, I didn't really understand. It's petroleum. They call it petroleum coke. I don't really understand what it is. If you want to know what it is, you're going to have to look it up because I can't really explain it and sound halfway knowledgeable about it. But it's super light, but it's hard like rock. We did find a lot of this. I just grabbed one piece because I just kind of wanted to see what it was. I did find some little toys, of course. And then in the quarry, there used to be some, I imagine there was some sort of railroad ties back there so they could move the stuff out of the quarry, so that you can find a lot of these old railroad ties. So I grabbed one of those and a little heart-shaped rock on the beach. What am I going to do with these? I'm not sure. My favorite samples, I'm going to probably put in a jar as I do. And the other ones, and definitely the smaller ones in the really cool collection of crinoids, I might string on a chain, wear them around my neck, I'm not sure. The bigger pieces, these horn corals and such, I'm probably going to add to the garden. I have a little fire pit area that we're building right now, and so I might add those there. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the rest, but it was really, really neat finding these 400 million year old fossils, and just amazing to think that Michigan was covered in sea life at one point. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tour to Alpena, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you on the beach somewhere.